Welcome back to another episode of the Randy Wilson Podcast. I'm your host, Randy Wilson, Virginia's podcast for the culture, from the culture. And today we have the pleasure to have Sheriff Antionette Irving on as our guest. But before we get into this interview, remember that you can find this podcast everywhere podcasts are played. You can go over to randywilsonpodcast.com. And if you're listening and you're riding your car, whenever you're parked and you're safe, and we're going to make sure we emphasize that while we're talking with the sheriff, okay? You can go over to YouTube and you can see this interview as well. A little bit about Sheriff Antionette Irving. She is the current sheriff of the city of Richmond, serving since 2018, a trailblazer in law enforcement. She was the first woman to achieve the rank of major in Henrico County Sheriff or police departments, where she served for over 26 years before her historic election as sheriff in the city of Richmond. She is a native of Richmond, born and raised in Creighton Court Public Housing, and graduated from Armstrong Kennedy High School. She went on to earn a bachelor's degree from Shaw University. She has a master's degree in administration from Central Michigan University. By the way, that bachelor's degree is in criminal justice. PhD in business administration with an emphasis in criminal justice from North Central University. Founder of the AVI Foundation, which is an organization that mentors youth, at-risk youth, and advocating for community-based programs focused on discipline, education, and self-respect. I could keep going. I mean, the bio is pretty lengthy. I think I'm going to stop right there, but I could keep going. Okay. Let me just talk to you guys. First off, the people, and this is a shout out to the people. Listen, I did an interview with William Burnett, who is another candidate for sheriff here in the city of Richmond, who also has a pretty lengthy career in law enforcement as well. And you guys got in my inbox and got in my chat, and y'all acted up. Y'all really did. Y'all acted up. All I do is ask the questions, okay? Y'all acted up. Mr. Burnett reached out to me. His people did, and as Antionette Irving said before the interview, I'm not hard to find, particularly if you have something substantial and meaningful to add to a conversation. So you guys got in the inbox, you got in the comments, and you said, hey, don't be biased, which I'm not. I just ask questions. If you look at my interview history, I'm very objective. I'm just asking the questions. And quite frankly, the majority of the questions I ask are the questions of the people. Okay. But you guys got the attention of Sheriff Antionette Irving. She got into the comments. I pinned it to the top, and look, we're here days before the election with the honor to be able to get her to respond and answer some of the questions that you guys provided as well. So thank you to the people. I think this is just a testament of showing that your voice matters, and your voice will matter if you get out and vote on the 17th. So make your voice, continue to make your voice heard. Ms. Irvin, I'm gonna get right on into it. And I'm going to, all these questions are from my inbox from people. But Some
Okay.
some questions are for you directly, and some questions are going to be in response to the interview I recently had with Mr. Burnett. This first question is addressing criticism and clarifying leadership. Okay, Mr. Burnett has stated that poor leadership, not just low pay, is what's driving high turnover in the Justice Center. What is your response to that, and how have you worked to improve morale and retention within the department?
That's a good question. Thank you. Appreciate you having me, first of all. And thanks to the people for finding me and letting me know about this. Um, Morale. And I'm not sure where the temperature of the morale has been taken. But our staff members, they work really hard over here. And what my goal is to make sure that we show them and I show them that they're highly appreciated. We have a lot of things going on over here for them alone, just for them. Since I've been here, I buy all of their uniform equipment and all of their equipment. They participate in different trainings. We have a wellness room for them. In the last 2 years, they have free fitness training 4 days a week. They have tuition reimbursement. They have a housing plan where we work with them to try to get housing for them if they want to be a first-time homeowner. We do different things with health and wellness, all of those things for them and their own mental health. So mental health is real, and we know that this is a stressful job, and we try to make sure that our staff has a method of relief. And a lot of that relief comes from our community outreach that we do. We give them an opportunity. They volunteer whenever they can and whenever they want to be a part of our outreach programs. We do anywhere from 140 to 150 outreach programs every year, just to be a part of the community, whatever the community has going on. So we try to make sure that we're working with the families of the individuals that are in here, and that our staff can be seen in a different light. and that makes them feel good and positive about what they do. The salary that they were making when I came has increased astronomically. We are hoping that that's a part of it. And you want to talk about leadership? I've been supervising and managing since 1990. Just making sure that individuals are trained and understand what their job duties and job functions are. Not just the point of me being educated in leadership and management, but I work alongside of the people that are here, making sure that we all understand what it is that we need to do. We make decisions as a team. Um, are there moments where people are not going to always agree? Absolutely, we all do that. We build rapport with other agencies, whether it's law enforcement agencies or public safety agencies, or just agencies and organizations in the community. We have over 250 partners. We have justice summits quarterly to ensure that we can build a relationship with the individuals that are in our community so that we can solve the issue together. Not just saying that whatever the jail's doing is the way that it works, but our community partners help us because our main goal is to ensure that the individuals that are inside of our facility, that when they go out, they have all the right resources that they need. And so we're working on the resources, not just for the people that reside here, but all resources that individuals need while they're here to make sure their finances are good, whatever their family issues are, if they need assistance with things, we work on those things. I have open door policy for my staff. They can come in with a solution, come in with a question. So we work pretty well together. I'm here every day, all day. Um, and the leadership style mine may not be the same as someone else's, but I'm a proven leader. I've been supervisor for many years, and I've been in management positions for quite some time.
Thank you. Um, I like that comment you said. I guess to know the temperature, you gotta know what thermostat they're using, where it's coming from, right? Burnett's campaign points out a significant 333% increase in overtime cost. I don't know where this number is coming from, but that's a big number, totaling near $2.8 million. I don't know. Maybe you can respond on if that's accurate or not. How do you explain that rise, and what changes have you implemented or planning to better manage staff workloads and budgets?
Well, the overtime increases when you have vacancies, and when we had George Floyd incident and COVID. Since those particular specific times, in all the law enforcement and public safety, all the numbers are down. And how does overtime increase? Because we have to provide services and security in our facility, and our staff works overtime to ensure that we can, make sure that we're doing what it is that we're supposed to be doing. It's increased. I don't know what their overtime rates may have been before, but I know what the overtime rates here and in other agencies that I speak to on a regular basis. Everybody's overtime is up. What we're doing is not just working on hiring people and hiring the right people. That's the important part. Hiring numbers and hiring quality people, because you continue to just hire numbers, your numbers are going to continue to fluctuate. So our goal is to hire people that are going to be able to follow the rules, and that they're disciplined and they're committed to the agency. We know that the sheriff's office is a place that people start, not always where people do their career, because a lot of people want to be the police, they want to be DEA, they want to be FBI, they want to be special agents, they want to be those things, CSI and NCI. They want to do all those types of things because those are the flashy jobs. Instead of having to deal with people that are in here and they don't want to be here. So our goal is to make sure that we help our individuals understand what the job is all about, what it takes to do this job. And there are going to be some tough days, but we can all get through them. There are plenty of people that have had long careers here, and we're working on retention. What does it take to retain people? It's to treat people right, and it's how it is that we treat people. How is that we treat the people that are living here? Oftentimes makes the day of the person that works here. So we try to make sure that we help everybody to understand what that looks like. So we're working on hiring and retention. In the last few hires that we've had, our numbers are increasing. We have had a larger graduation class a few weeks ago, and we're about to bring in some more new people. We just brought in a staff. So we're working, and our numbers are changing. Not sure what that is that's making those numbers change. But the unrest really hurt law enforcement, because young people look at this career a little bit differently. So now we have to sell this career to them, not just the police, but we have to sell the deputy sheriff that doesn't work on the street and doesn't drive the flashy car, but the person that's inside of a building with somebody that has committed a crime or been accused of a crime, or a person that's going to be doing 100 years, and what that attitude looks like.
Understood. Got you. Body cameras, civilian review boards, and inmate advocates have been central to Burnett's transparency proposals. What is your administration already done in these areas, and are there enhancements you're currently pursuing?
We already have body cams. Our staff members that work outside are already using body cams. The thing
Mhm.
about using body cams inside is there's a HIPAA violation that could occur. However, when there are incidents, we have body cams that our staff has been properly trained on that they can actually use the body cams for footage when an emergency situation happens within the facility. We're also we just received a grant that we are going to use for cameras inside of the vehicles, so that when individuals are being transported, that you can see what that looks like and what happened during those transports. We have body scanners in our facility for security. We are like TSAs. You know, the guy said, "Y'all TSA or what?" No, but we have scanners so that we can make sure that we scan individuals when they come in the building. We can scan the individuals that are in the building when they move from floor to floor. So we're doing that. Some of the other security procedures that we've had to do. Is we have wires and fencing around our building to ensure that people can't continue to attempt to jump on the building, things of that nature. So we have outdoor patrol to make sure that we have the building secure, and we're checking staff members. We're doing all of those things. We work with the Department of Correction and the other law enforcement agencies in the area to ensure that we have K-9 units that come in and do searches not only when people are coming in and out of the building, but while people are in the building. So we are having searches. We have search schedules and we have random schedules as far as when we are doing searches. Um, as far as making sure that contraband doesn't get in, and whatever shouldn't be in is in. So we're continuing to do that. In the courthouse, what we're doing is we just purchased the Yonder pouches, and a lot of you all would know about those from going to concerts. That individuals now can bring to, will be able to bring phones into the building. They have to turn them off and turn them on whenever they're needed into our courthouses. So we're working on those types of things, trying to enhance what we're doing at the sheriff's office to ensure that it is humane and people are able to still connect with their family members and what it is that they need to do. We have individuals that are in programs that are continuously improving with on themselves and what it is that they have going on. So we're working really hard to improve in the areas of security. But the thing that we really know in reference to people that reside here is to ensure that they can be the best person they possibly can be by meeting their needs where they are, whether it's mental health, whether it's medical, whether it's substance abuse or substance addiction, whatever that may be, understanding what their traumas are. So we're continuously working on the person because we want to deal with crime from the inside out. Our main responsibility is this facility and our courthouses. So we want to make sure that we're putting people in a position that they can be successful so that when they go back out, they won't be in the same mindset of thinking, I've got to go back to what I was doing in order to be able to survive. So we want people to be successful.
Um, Something I kind of took away from the conversation, and if I misinterpreted Burnett's comment, then I apologize. I think what I took from him is that he alluded to that if contraband is getting inside of the jail, it has to be happening with the staff. Is that fair? Is that accurate to say?
Well, contraband
Considering
not
that, considering that if you have a visitor or someone, they're going through surveillance, obviously. This is the same protocols fit for staff?
the same protocols fit for staff. Everybody goes through searches, everybody goes through scans. Any facility that you go in, we're all having issues with some type of contraband. Where there's a will, there's a way, unfortunately, and people do things very strangely.
Mhm.
And we are diligently seeking information and trying to make sure that we can get what we need to do to make sure that the place is safe. I don't know any agency that has never had contraband.
Mhm.
And I've been in this business since 1988, and we had problems with contraband wherever we were. It's just how much contraband do we stop from getting in versus the amount of contraband that does get in. We don't want any contraband to get in because all contraband can be a matter of life and death. So we
Mhm.
want any contraband to get into the facility. And any staff member, we search our staff members. We listen to phone calls and we watch videos. We get the temperatures from outside of the facility where people will call us and say, hey, you might want to check whatever. So we monitor what's going on. We try to keep our finger on the pulse of things that's going on in the community, because whatever's going on in the community, it has a large possibility to go on in here, because these guys are part of that community.
Mhm.
So a lot of things that happen there will happen here.
I I've interviewed a lot of legislators, a lot of politicians, and this is new for me when it comes to talking to law enforcement and sheriffs. I haven't ever interviewed a sheriff before. I've never thought about positions like when I think about the position of, first off, I respect public office. I respect the position of authority that our law enforcement has, and I emphasize with the current climate, being someone who works in mental health, I particularly recognize how it has to be a very difficult job to be in law enforcement now. It's probably always been, but now probably more than ever. I never looked at the position of law enforcement as political, though. Being that you've held this position now for a long time and you've been in law enforcement for many, many years prior, um, does it say, is it fair to say that it is political and does it feel political to you, particularly now that you're campaigning against someone else? I mean, before being a sheriff, you probably got in your positions as a result of earning them. And not that you don't earn people's vote, but it's different when you're in a public office position like sheriff versus a deputy or something like that.
Right, absolutely. It's different than being the worker and being the person that pretty much controls everything.
Hmm.
I'm not very much of a politician. And that's not my goal to be a politician. My goal is to be purposeful,
Hmm.
and to make the environment better for our community as well as the individuals that come in. I'm from this community.
Hmm.
Substance abuse, domestic violence. I grew up in a housing project. So
Hmm.
I'm from this community, and what I want to do is help people to be better, help
Hmm.
families to be better, help people to be a part of the economic development, of our cities. Has it changed since 1988? Absolutely, it's
Hmm.
changed a lot, and it changes when you're in this particular position, because you're answering to hundreds of thousands of people, and everybody has a different opinion, and everybody wants things to be done a certain way, and we try to meet the goal. I try to meet the goal of the majority of individuals, but making sure I'm following rules and policies. And do I always agree with all rules and policies? That's why I'm working to with legislature and other things to try to make sure rules can be more amenable to what life really is about. So it's different. But fortunately, where I was working, I was getting prepared to be in this position, and being able to manage people and manage things, and understanding what that looks like, and being able to communicate in different rooms. I tell people that I want to be able to talk in whatever room it is that I need to talk in, or whatever place I need to talk in, whether I'm in a community of kids, I'm in a community of executives, or whether I'm in just amongst a bunch of people just having a conversation. I want to be able to have that shift and be flexible, because you have to be flexible in the conversations that you have with individuals to ensure that they're hearing what it is. But it's important that in the sheriff's office that we look at the legislation that's out there, and we can help to change things, and we can help to make things better for the people of the community, because being incarcerated is not the same that it may have been years ago, because there are different types of people, there are different types of crimes, there are different things that people are being accused of and they may not have committed. There are different reactions from their family members, and we have to please the family, we have to please the inmate, we have to please the public, we have to please counsel, we have to please General Assembly. So we're in a position that we have to please so many people, but we have to make sure that we are doing it within the constraints of what it is that we're supposed to be doing.
Understood. Um, do you feel that how well do you feel like the current sheriff office and the Richmond City Police, do you feel that you guys work well together? Do you feel like there's a lot of room for improvement? How would you summarize the current dynamic between the Richmond Sheriff's Office and the Richmond Police Department?
There's room for improvement in all relationships. Um, There's some people that get along very well. There's some people that don't, as in any community, as in any household. The main thing is communication, is how we communicate with each other. We both have a job to do, whether it's Richmond, Henrico, Chesterfield, State Police, VCU, whatever it is. We all have a job that we have to perform. And oftentimes when someone feels that we're not letting each other do what our jobs are, then sometimes people feel some kind of way about that. But that's why we have to make sure that we're effectively communicating with each other as to why it is that we can or cannot do certain things and what our policy is versus someone else's policy. And that's why the chief and I have lots of conversations about how things are running and how things should be ran. And I applaud that relationship that I've had with all the chiefs of police that have been here since I've been here. I think I've gone through 6 of them
Wow.
since I've been in this position. And Chief Edwards and I have conversation. We text and we talk day, night, whatever it is. And I speak to different officers. So I believe that the relationships that we have with our law enforcement agencies that come through here, do we need to improve? Yes, but it's reciprocal. That we all need to work on how it is that we communicate and how we work well together, or we won't work well together. But individuals are individuals. Some people want what they want when they want it, regardless of what the rules are, and sometimes that can cause some type of conflict. But I think we have a pretty good relationship, and I talk to them all the time and ask them what their needs are and how can I help them. I personally have these conversations with line officers so I can see, because they're the ones doing the work. And when I'm here and I see them and I ask them, what is it I can do to help improve the process for you in getting your job done? And I think they appreciate that because they openly talk to me about things. Some of them don't. They don't talk to me. I'm not sure why that is. That's up to them. But the majority of people that come into this facility, we have conversations about our work report and what it is that we need to do to help each other.
Comparing experience and leadership styles, Burnett claims his 28 years of service and work under Sheriff Woody makes him uniquely equipped to reinvent the office. How do you compare your record and leadership style to what he's proposing? And I'm sure you're familiar with Woody as well.
Yeah, I am familiar with Sheriff Woody, and I'm not familiar. I'm more familiar with Sheriff Woody than I am with Mr. Burnett. So I don't have anything to say about his style because I don't know his style. Only thing I can talk about is rumors, and I don't talk about those things. But what I can say is my style is direct. That of accountability and giving people responsibility, but also giving people the opportunity to learn, people the opportunity to grow, and to ensure that people are doing what it is that they need to do and that what they're supposed to do. Yes, I do hold people accountable. And if I'm going to work 12 and 14 hours a day and give 100% as long as I'm working, then other people are expected to at least do their job. The other part of that is, we try to make sure that people are growing. My style is to make sure that people are healthy and well, because if you're not an officer that's healthy and well, then you're not going to be able to perform at your best. What's going on at home, what's going on in your job, making sure people are well trained. I'm big on training, I'm big on education, but I'm also big on being in the position to use common sense to get your work done, and being able to communicate with other people. Um, I don't play around with this job because every day it's a matter of life and death. Some people want to be a deputy sheriff, but they don't want to work in the back of a jail. And all of us, I know I did. Some people may not have had to have that experience, but I worked in the back of jail for years. I managed the back of a jail. And I think we did pretty well. We do a good job here now. Do we have room for improvement? Do I have room for improvement? All of us have room for improvement. But my leadership style is very direct. But I'm open to conversation, and I try to make sure that we communicate often, on a daily basis. Like I said, I'll talk to deputies, I talk to whomever comes in our facility just to see what is it that we can do to make their job easier and better. That's why we're continuously buying stuff, to make sure that they have what they need to be able to do a job and to be safe doing the job. We want to make sure they're safe and that they're well compensated for what it is that they're doing. So that's just my style. I worked from the ground up, and I can do the job that they do. And if there's anything that I can do to help them do that job, then I will do that. In the management part of it, I make sure that I understand all the facets of what goes on in our facility. We're like our own little business within our own. We have a finance section, a time management section, a budget section, a HR section, a policy section. So we have all of those things that actually go on the business side of this. So my management style is to understand all the concepts of what we do and make sure that others know that as well. To make sure that our command staff is trained how to command and how to lead and how to be a part of an executive team. That our line staff has aspirations to do better and be more. That's why we have tuition reimbursement program so that we can assist them in getting the education that they want or just getting the type of training that they want to make sure that they can do that. So we continue to work on that. That's just who I am. I'm transparent. Um, I really don't cut a lot of corners. I do the job that needs to be done because every day is a serious day in this building. Do we laugh, joke, and have fun conversations? Absolutely, we do. We just had one a few minutes ago about hair. So it's just a matter of what's going on for the day as to how it is that we have those conversations.
Yeah, my wife has made sure that I don't get involved in any fun conversations around hair. She reminds me in the Crown Act. It's not a place for
Yeah.
my opinion. No, I think this is going very well, actually. Before I ask my next question, you guys have not did any type of public forum debate. Am I correct with that?
My opponent and I, yes, we
Yes.
have.
You did a
Yes, we
debate?
have. We
Okay.
did a forum debate type of thing for the Richmond Democratic Party a few weeks ago.
Okay. Okay. Um, before I I became familiar with you visually. We've never had a conversation prior to this, but I became familiar with you visually just by seeing you sit in the pulpit at St. Paul's Church. So I know that you're a woman of faith, and I guess particularly coming with this position, it requires you to have thick skin. Um, uh, how do you deal with you made a comment a few minutes ago that you don't really get into rumors, you don't entertain rumors, but how do you deal with it? I mean, you know that you're on the public stage every single day, and particularly with this time of social media, when you see how people are going to go in the comments and they're going to say everything, and you know, how do you deal with that?
Well, basically, I know the job that I'm doing,
Hmm.
and I feel that I'm doing the best job that I possibly can do. Rumors are just that. I enjoy people talking about me. That's free advertisement. That's free publicity. That's whatever you want it to be.
Hmm.
But I don't get into talking about other people because I have too much work to do. There's too much to do in our community and in our city, inside of this facility. There's too much to do. Um, and being a kid from the projects, I've already had that. I've already gotten that. Going to public school, going to a HBCU, I've gotten that in my life where people are constantly going to not like what it is that you do or not like what you wear or not like what you say. That's okay.
Hmm.
Everybody has their right to an opinion, but can you do the job that I'm doing? And I
Hmm.
invite you to come and visit anytime. I tell my staff, we can walk together, we can talk together, but let's see what we can do. And I have no problems with rumors. Um,
Hmm.
it's like the old song about rumors. They are what they are. But I'm confident in what it is that I do. I think I've been well trained. I think I work hard. I think I'm doing it for the right reasons. And I think I do it because I care. I'm compassionate. I'm firm, fair, and consistent. And that's what we are supposed to be. So I'm all those things. And I am who I am. And as you say, I am a woman of faith. I believe in a lot of things. My family supports me. My staff supports me. The people that I know support me and that I associate with support me in what it is that I'm doing. And I don't do anything maliciously. There's no intent for me to do anything incorrect or to bring any harm to anyone. I do what is about policy, and if I have problem with policy or legislature, I speak to the right people to try to get that changed. I'm about getting things changed, not about talking about change, and doing the work. I think my work speaks for itself. Um, in people that I've worked with, for individuals that have been incarcerated at the times that I've worked, the conversations that we have outside of work, I see them. I live in this community, so I see them. They talk to me. I check up on them to see how they're doing. And I check in when they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So those are the things that are important to me. Rumors aren't important. Putting in the work and seeing the results, that's what's important to me.
Um, you've likely heard or read comments, and you may not answer this question based on, or you, I don't know, it'd be interesting how you answer this question because you don't get into rumors, but you've likely heard or read comments made in Burnett's recent podcast interview. Are there any claims or suggestions that you feel you need to correct or clarify based on anything that's been put out there? Based on the work. I don't want to make it about rumors. Let's, because I know you're not going to respond to that. But I'm talking about, do you feel like there's been any like Do you feel like there's been any accusations or allegations made toward your administration that you can speak to in response to based on the work, not the
Well,
rumors, but
based
based on the work?
Well, based on the work, I think we've covered them.
Hmm.
As far as making sure that we have the programs in place here for individuals to be able to go back in society and be a strong part of the economic development here. Our programs are legitimate programs. We've been awarded over $8 million in grant funding. And as you know, being in your field, you don't get grant funding and you don't keep grant funding if you're not doing the work. So we make sure that the work is getting done, and we want to put people in the right position. Our forklifting program, and we're putting people to work. Our CDL program, once we can get, we've gotten that started, and now we need to get some people to complete that so people can have their own businesses and be their own owner and have their own jobs. Cosmetology and barbering, we're doing those things. We're doing the work. We're trying to change the lives and the mindsets of the individuals that are here. And we do that every day with the programs that we have, whether they're mental health programs, the medical that we're providing for them, and we have our substance abuse and addiction programs that individuals are actively involved in. We have close to 50 people that are in our Medicaid assistance program. We have a substance abuse program. We have, our change program, which is a part of our mental health program, and we're getting people ready to be a part of their family again. We are connecting individuals with their family. We are working with the assistant families of inmates to have people to get the rapport with their young kids so that they can start to rebuild or build a relationship with them. So we're continuously doing programs and we're doing outreach. What it is, we have up to 145, 150 outreach events every year, and making sure that we're in the community. We have guys that live here that say, thank you for having your food program every month because that's helping my family when I'm not doing my part. Thank you for looking out for my grandmother in the Are You OK program. We're doing a Project Lifesaver program for kids and seniors that may wander off. We actually have programs and we have results. Again, grant funding, they want to know what you're doing. They're going to check your numbers and they're going to come and see what you're doing. We've been audited every year for everything I can think of since I've been here. I haven't seen so many audits. Where I came from, they didn't have those many audits, but we have them. We've not failed any of our inspections. So we're doing the work and we're putting in the effort. And my staff gets frustrated when they hear that somebody's saying they're not working hard. Things happen, yes, things happen, but the staff's working hard, and they're putting in their effort to make sure that we can do the right thing for the right reasons, simply because it's the right thing to do. It's not the thing to do during political time, but it's the right thing to do every day. And that's what I push to my people, that that's what's supposed to be going on. And rumors or no rumors or whatever that's all about, we're doing the work. We've never been over budget. None of those things. Somebody just asked me that question this morning. Why are we always over budget? We've never been over budget. We give money back to the city every year. We are also state funded. So state gives money to the city in reference to what it is that we're doing. So we're working hard to make sure that we're fiscally responsible and that we're managing things the way they're supposed to be doing. I'm hoping that the education that I have is paying off. The things that I've had to learn is paying off. The experiences that I've gained from working in a different county that really holds you accountable. I'm hoping that those experiences have helped. Is everybody gonna like me? I don't know. Does it matter? If it's not about what it is that we're doing, is that actually important? You want people to appreciate the job that you do more so than anything else. And if you're doing the job that's supposed to be done, oftentimes people are not gonna like that. We try to make sure that we communicate with the public. We would love to be more transparent in what it is that we do, but we would like media outlets to come around when there are good things going on and not just come around when there's something negative to talk about. I invite all the media to come in, walk around, take a tour, come and talk to these ladies and gentlemen that live here and that work here. We invite them to do that all the time. We've had senators, we've had Congress people, we've had council people, we've had many people to come in, just city leaders and people, that are concerned about what's going on. They come in and they see what's going on. Those are the people that I pay more attention to than the people that's out there talking and not wanting to know or wanting to understand that the actual work that we do is benefiting not only the community, but actually benefiting the individuals that come through our doors.
Wow. I tell you what, I think that leads us to a good place to close. And I also would love to take advantage of that opportunity. If there's a way that myself and the organizations that I represent could be supportive, particularly when it comes from a mental health and a wellness standpoint, um, I'd love to be able to have that opportunity. So you have my information as well in your inbox, and very appreciative and thankful for you getting on here. You did make yourself available. You did respond to the people, which is, I guess, part of your job as in public service. And shout out to the people on the blogs who are circulating this content because it's not just big media out there that's always responding, or sometimes they're not. It's a little media and people out here who on the grassroots ground level just trying to surface those conversations. And quite frankly, our voice matters too. We hold a lot of power in votes. Our votes have to be earned. They can't just be given away. And so thankful for you. Appreciate you. We got about 2 minutes here before it closes off. Do you have any final words that you'd like to say?
Yeah, I just like to thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And again, thanks for the people that, say, hey, there's a guy that you need to talk to, and I appreciate small media,
Yeah.
because those are the people that really care about what's going on every day.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that you guys have an opportunity to get the word out. And speaking of mental health, I have two LPCs that work on my staff. I have social workers that work on my staff, not just with my provider, but I want to make sure that people's mental health is able to be attended to. And not just that, but substance abuse and and it's not just about opioids or crack or it's also alcohol addiction, all of those things. We want to make sure that people can get well and understand the traumas that they've gone through. All of us have gone through them, but do we understand them? And are we able to be in tune with them so that we can live a life that's going to be comfortable for us and it's going to be safe for us and it's going to be safe for the people that are around us, whether we're at work, home, or play. We
Yeah.
have to make sure that we're helping to build individuals to be the best possible individual they can be or to rebuild them, because some people have gotten so low on themselves and they've been through so much. Who's helping them to get back up? That's our job
Yeah.
as a people,
Yeah.
not as a politician, but as a people, to pull each other up and to help each other to grow and gain the responsibilities and doing the things that they need to do to be as effective and positive as they possibly can be. It's not our job to talk rumors about each other and talk each other down. It's our job to help pull each other up,
Yeah.
because we have enough people that's doing that. But we as a society and we as a people need to make sure that we're doing the right thing for the right reason, simply because it's the right thing to do. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. This is what
Ooh.
I've been doing all of my adult life.
Okay,
And
now there's a
I
little
won't let
low key bar
anybody,
there.
I won't let anybody change that for
Yeah.
me or who I am. And whatever the path may be for me, it's for me. It's not for anybody else.
Yeah.
But I would like to be able to continue to do what I've been doing. And I trust that the citizens of this city understand what it is that we do, which is not an easy job to do, and understand what it is that I'm trying to do. I've had to grow a lot of people that work here. Some people didn't want to grow, so they're not here. But if you want to grow and do the right thing and do the job that needs to be done, and you care about people, and you want to make sure the life, health, and safety of people is taken care of, then this is where we would need you to be, to come and join our team and be a part of what it is that they do. But I hope the people trust that they'll go out and vote between now and Tuesday and vote for me to continue to be the sheriff of this city, my city, the city that I grew up in, the city that I love, the city of Richmond. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Miss Irvin. And thank you guys for tuning in. This is another episode of the Randy Wilson Podcast. You can find it everywhere, but go over to YouTube so you can see it. All right. And we're out.